Tale of Two Houses. In the bustling city of Rivermore, there stood two houses side by side but worlds apart. One was a sprawling mansion with towering iron gates, immaculate gardens, and glistening windows that reflected the sun's golden rays. The other was a small, weather-worn shack with peeling paint, a sagging roof, and a garden of wild flowers growing where order had long been abandoned. The mansion belonged to the Rowlands, a family of immense wealth. Mr. Rowland was a shrewd businessman who had built his fortune from the ground up, while Mrs. Rowland adorned the social circles with her grace and charm. Their teenage son, Ethan, had everything a boy could dream of: cars, gadgets, and vacations in exotic places, but he carried an emptiness he couldn't explain. The shack belonged to the Torres family, who lived paycheck to paycheck. Carlos Torres was a factory worker, his wife Maria sold homemade pastries at the local market, and their daughter Sofia, a bright and kind-hearted girl, spent her evenings helping her younger siblings with homework. Despite their struggles, the Torres family had an unshakable bond, their home filled with laughter and love. The encounter. One summer afternoon, a sudden storm swept through Rivermore. Sofia, on her way home from the market, noticed a boy struggling to fix a bike in the downpour. It was Ethan, who had ventured out on a whim but had no idea how to repair the flat tire. Without hesitation, Sofia offered to help, using her knowledge from repairing her own family's old bikes. Ethan was both embarrassed and amazed. "Why would you stop to help me?" he asked. Sofia shrugged, smiling. "Because you needed it. That's what neighbors do." That encounter was the beginning of an unlikely friendship. Ethan started visiting the Torres family, drawn to their warmth and simple joy. In their small home, he found a sense of connection he had never felt in his mansion. Meanwhile, Sofia saw Ethan's life of privilege but also noticed the loneliness hidden behind his expensive possessions. Lessons learned. One day, Ethan invited Sofia to his home for a school project. She marveled at the grandeur but noticed how quiet and empty it felt. Over dinner, Mrs. Rowland, intrigued by Sofia's confidence and charm, asked about her family. "You must have everything you could ever want," Sofia said politely, "but do you ever sit together at the table like this?" Mrs. Rowland faltered, glancing at her husband and son. They realized how rare such moments were in their own household. Moved by Sofia's words, the Rowlands made an effort to connect more deeply as a family. They began hosting dinners, where they invited the Torres family to share meals and stories. The two families, so different in wealth, found common ground in their humanity. A new chapter. Over time, their bond grew stronger. Mr. Rowland, impressed by Carlos's work ethic, offered him a managerial role at his company, which greatly improved the Torres family's financial situation. Meanwhile, Maria's pastries found a new market among Mrs. Rowland's social circle, leading to a booming business. Ethan and Sofia, now best friends, learned from each other's worlds. Ethan discovered the joy of giving, volunteering at local shelters with Sofia, while she learned to dream bigger, inspired by his unwavering belief in her talents. The lesson of two houses. The two houses in Rivermore no longer stood divided by wealth. Instead, they became a symbol of how kindness, empathy, and understanding could bridge even the widest gaps. Both families realized that true wealth lay not in possessions but in the love and connections they shared. And so, the poor family became richer in opportunity, while the rich family found the priceless treasures they had been missing all along.